I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You ready, Joe?
Ready? All right.
Cheers.
Boom.
Cheers
to you.
It's right now, everybody. We are going to talk today about the Stipula Carbon Florentia. So this is an exclusive, Goulet-exclusive that we have. Limited edition of 300 pens. Numbered limited edition on the pen. And it's a pretty interesting looking pen. It's got some cool things going on with it. It harkens back to some of the things of old that we have done, either with Stipula, Monteverde, or Conklin. So we're gonna
Because we have done some carbon fiber in the past. So we've got a nice assortment of past carbon fiber editions here for you.
Yeah, I wanted to first go way back in time.
All right, I will be the holder of the Florentia.
There you go. So this was the original
OG.
Monteverde Nighthawk.
There we go.
Which was pretty cool. And honestly, for the life of me, I cannot remember if Stipula did the carbon fiber on this or not. I don't believe so.
Oh.
I can't remember. But anyway, the U.S. distributor, Jaffa, is also the distributor for Stipula.
Right, so they have a partnership.
They have a partnership, so Stipula makes some of the Conklin pens I know. I don't know if they do anything with Monteverde. But anyway, this was like 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember. I think it was 5 years ago. We did this one. We had to revamp it, change the carbon fiber a little bit, a little tighter weave.
Yeah, much tighter.
So if you have one of the OG Monteverde Nighthawks, it's going to have the thicker weave.
Mm-hmm.
The newer ones, which it's a long discontinued pen, had the tighter weave.
And if you look at this one doesn't have the appearance of a weave, in my opinion.
Well,
it's less of a, well, it's not that diagonal weave anyway.
Yeah, Stipula calls it the twill weave.
Okay.
Twill weave. So it's kind of interesting. And
this looks more like what I would see on like car parts and stuff than this. This looks more like a basket weave type of design.
Yeah, which is more commonly what you see. This is the glossy finish of the Monteverde Invincia Deluxe, and this is the cross weave or whatever you want to call it, basket weave. And then we did the Conklin Nighthawk, which these I believe was made by Stipula.
That looks more similar.
Right, and so it looks similar, but it's not quite as, the pattern is still different because this one you've got kind of this stair-step little checkered pattern on the twill thing. Just for like size and weight comparison, because it is Stipula, the Stipula Etruria is actually very, very similar in size and overall weight. So if you're familiar with the Etruria and you like it, but you don't need the piston, and you know, this is the Etruria Alter Ego, which is a limited edition that we've done of 88 pieces, which will eventually run out at some point. We do have them still, but it's very, very similar to that. So it's a pretty good size.
Yeah, it is a good size. When you compare it to this Conklin here, you see that it is much wider in diameter.
Yeah, and I thought it'd be good to show, you know, this is basically a Durograph format, so it'd be good for you to see. It's kind of like an oversized Durograph.
Yeah. It does appear that, especially, you know, the taper of the finial here at the bottom. It is in the, you know, the top. It does harken a little bit back to the Durograph.
A little bit. So that's kind of cool. It's got the carbon fiber thing going on. I want to talk about the trim for just a second. You have these blue accents, which is, you know, blue's kind of our thing. So when Rachel and I went to Stipula's factory last year, we were kind of brainstorming different ideas. This was one of the brainstorms that came out of our trip from September of last year. So it's taken this long to actually make it happen, but that's kind of what it alludes to there. So one thing to point out here is because it is a translucent blue, the thinner parts that have metal underneath, like in the center band and the grip, look a little bit lighter. It's not necessarily a like defect or anything. It's kind of an after effect.
No, it's just kind of like kind of like coffee or tea. If you put it in a, you know, more thin vessel, it's going to look weaker. Yeah. If you put it in a big wide bucket, coffee bucket. Ooh, that sounds nice right now.
Coffee bucket? There you go. Take a sip, Drew. Calm down. So I just wanted to point that out because in full fairness, you may look at it and be like, why is it two different blues?
Right.
Okay, technically it's not. It's the exact same material, just looks a little thinner because of that thinner metal there. Okay, so these are all made in Florence, in Italy, in Stipula's factory. The trim here, so
this is interesting.
So this is Stipula's logo, the leaf.
Right. Sometimes they have it printed on the clip.
Sometimes, so they have a leaf kind of a theme. So I wanted to explain that because I'm not sure a lot of you are aware. That you may know that, like, okay, the leaf is Stipula's thing, but why exactly?
Tell me, Brian.
So heard from Luca in Italy about, he's the founder of Stipula, and asked him, what is going on with
what
the leaf
is the
thing?
dealio, Luca?
So the leaf is a pattern throughout all of Stipula's pens, and the reason why it's a leaf is because leaves are fed through capillary action in the tree.
Look at that.
So leaves basically would not survive unless they had capillary action coming through the trunk of the tree, going all the way to the end of the leaf. So it's kind of alludes to a fountain pen in the way that the capillary action works in the feed, going all the way to the tip of the nib.
How about that?
The leaf is kind of like the end point of the capillary action on a tree.
That makes me like it even more.
Isn't that cool?
That is really neat.
So it's pretty thoughtful. So it's got the leaf clip going on, and then the leaf center band as well.
All around here.
Yeah.
And it's continuous. It doesn't, well, there's a little, like, a couple squares here where it kind of breaks.
Yeah.
But then...
And the way that they make the clip and the center band there, it's a lost wax casting.
Wait, what?
So I had to... Drew was like, I'm curious for you to explain this to me. He's like, don't tell me now. I want to hear it real time.
What is lost wax, and who found it?
So it's a... Fair enough.
Who lost it?
So basically, it's a technique that's used a lot in jewelry. Basically, they use wax and they carve a particular design out of wax. That's why it's called lost wax, because you're taking away the part that ultimately will end up being the center band. So they carve that, and then they cast like a plaster of Paris or something into the wax to make a mold of whatever it is. And then from that, more things happen. I'm losing my recollection of exactly how the process works. And then magically they produce whatever it is.
So you're thinking
I'm missing a step
so
there somewhere.
this clip was done using that, you think?
I don't know about the Etruria, but it's very possible.
The Stipula clips have always had kind of like this kind of chunky feel to me.
Yeah,
and that makes sense. Like this looks very...
I would be surprised if that was the process.
It looks very hand-worked and less machined.
Because it is.
Well, that makes more sense. See, I always thought that
so
it was
it's like hand-carved and then
Oh.
molded, and then... So they cast bronze, that's what it is, and then it's plated in platinum. It's got kind of this matte finish to it. So that's the clip in the center band. That's what you're
That
seeing
explains a lot. Because I'm not going to say it doesn't look rough, but it does look... I guess
it doesn't look like stamped or
carved. Right. It doesn't look like a
CNC.
machine did this. Exactly. Because you see a lot of center bands that look just absolutely flawless with these little pristine microscopic cuts in it. Yeah. And this is definitely not that.
Yeah. I think I reversed a step there. So I think they carve maybe what the center band will look like in wax, and then they cast the plaster around it, and they use that cast. There's a lot of reversing going on, and then they
I think one of these days we might need to talk more about like interesting manufacturing methods that people might not know about, because that was super interesting to me.
Clearly, I don't know about this one. I need to learn
we need
about
to learn more. Let's dig. We'll do digging. We'll let you know.
Anyway, so just look up lost wax casting, and you can see a lot of jewelers and stuff.
Go find the lost wax.
So anyway, that's how that trim works. Other random facts about the pen: it's 37 grams in total weight, which is a pretty good weight. I was surprised that it weighed that much, because in my hand it didn't feel like it weighed
36.
That much. Maybe it had ink in it. I don't know. So no, but I mean, to me, it didn't feel like a heavy pen. But now when I compare it to other pens, I'm like, all right, it's a little more substantial. But for the size of it, maybe it tricked me out a little bit. Now it does get a little bit top heavy, but even then, honestly, a lot of the weight's in the front of the nib. A lot of the weight is in the center band on the cap, so it's not real back heavy. Because it's carbon fiber and resin, so it's not real heavy up there.
It's that band.
Yeah, so it centers it a little bit, so I can actually, but it's pretty long too. So you're gonna have to. It may or may not be.
Fine.
Yeah, you don't have to post it, but you can if you want to. I like that it's only one rotation of the cap to get it off, so you don't have to reposition your hands at all. That's super handy. Nice smooth action. It's got metal threads on the grip, which is not super sharp, and it's far enough back where it doesn't really bother your fingers. And then it's got resin threads on the inside of the cap, so it's pretty smooth. It's not like metal on metal.
Yeah.
It feels like
it's nice and comfortable.
Stuff. Yeah, that's kind of cool. The body is 22 grams, if that matters for your weight purposes. About the weight of a vanishing point, if you're familiar with that, or like a Twizy Vac 700R. It's comparable in weight to that. Or a Visconti Rembrandt. Trying to throw out other things that you may be familiar with. Standard international cartridge converter, both are included. Nibs are made by Bach in Germany. Fine, medium, and 1.1. Stainless steel nibs.
You got your number right up here in the...
Numbers engraved up there, yep. 10.5 millimeter grip, 15 millimeter body. So it's a bigger pen. It may, push the limits of some of your pen cases and things like that. It should fit, but it's going to be a bigger pen for sure. And it's $216. And I think those are all the facts that I had written down to talk about this pen.
So it sounds like if I'm a fan of Stipula already, if I'm a fan of some handwork, and I'm, a carbon fiber junkie, this could be the pen for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting like conglomeration of different things, like the resin with the demo, but the lost wax casting with the handwork, but like the technology of the carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting things going on in one pen.
Yeah.
So we thought, what the heck? Why not?
Why not?
They're letting us do it, so we're going to give it a shot. So there you go. You can check it out on our site at gouletpens.com. If you got any questions, be sure to let us know down in the comments. And that's about it. If you know anything about lost wax casting, let us know, because apparently we need to brush off on
You know more than I do. It's enough to make me interested.
I looked it up and I thought it was
impressed.
Good. Anyway.
Very cool.
There you go. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and right on.